This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I am your host, Eric. In today's game, we will have a team of Benchwarmers Matt and Walling taking on Benchwarmer Mason and newcomer Scott Hyland. Welcome to Bench, Scott. Take a minute. Let us know of the pitiful teams that you root for, where you're from, anything else you want to share with us.
Thanks for having me. If we're going to start with pitiful, I'm a Jets and Knicks fan. Less pitiful, Yankees and Rangers. Notre Dame football, and I know I'm just checking all the boxes of miserableness. And recently a 2022-2023 season ticket holder for FC Dallas. So we're big MLS people now.
Nice. And Mason, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just getting in the swing of things of teaching. So it's been going well. So it's been an adventure, starting with a whole new class, but it's been going. Well.
And what team name did you guys land on? I know you have trouble with team names, but let's see what you got today.
Yeah. So this is almost like a non sequitur in a way. So he told me his favorite teams. When he said New York teams, for some reason I latched on to Giants, even though it did not say Giants. So I was thinking of something between that and my fandom. So I came up with Jeremy Shockey. And from that, Scott thought of Miami tight ends. And so we have arrived on the team name of Third Leg Greg, in honor of Greg Olson. So there you go.
Sounds good. And over to Walling and the bearded one, Matt. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I'll go first because Walling's
got your team name.
There you go. For those playing Benchwarmers Trivia at home.
Marked it off.
I'm good. I just realized when I was looking back at my spreadsheet here that I have not played on a regular episode since the 14th of June. So Inside Baseball, we are recording this on the 23rd of August. So the last episode I was on episode 161, and this is episode 171. So it's been a while since I've been on a regular episode.
Yeah, so we don't only bring you out for special occasions.
Really, does anybody want me to be here? I do the stuff behind the scenes.
Man.
Nobody really cares.
I might be salty or angry, as everybody says all the time. Saltiness is for Walling, but yeah, I appreciate it when you're here, Matt.
Anyway, my bad trivia. Okay, over to Walling.
Hello. I've done some home improvement. I know this is an audio medium, but in the background, there's my new scarf wall. It looks pretty nice. Keeps it insulated here when it's 97 degrees outside in August.
114 here yesterday.
When I got in the car to pick up the kids from school today, it said it was 103.
Ugh.
I hate everything about those numbers.
It's awful. 103 around here too. But yeah, I finished a little home improvement project / honeydew thing, and kind of getting into that. We've been in the house for like a year now, so now we're year and a half. We're like getting into that now. I want to fix all the stuff that I've just been okay with for a while. So
there's only 80 boxes still to unpack instead of 140.
Yeah, there's a box of books over here, and like who even reads these days? So so we decided to go with, we were contemplating it's fantasy football season, and obviously everyone remembers the triumphant season of the Dickey Boys. So we were close to saying the Dickey Boys right again, but really we were both touched by a news story that came out today. It's a post that's gone viral. It's a man just enjoying himself. Everyone appeared to have ganged up on him, and the Benchwarmers are pretty torn on what they would do in this situation, but we're just going to leave it up to the listeners, because today we're going to be the hot dog beer straws.
That guy is a genius.
When you got crappy tasting beer,
right?
Which he almost certainly does.
Look, and the hierarchy of things I would turn into a straw, it starts with a Twizzler.
Yeah, of course.
And a hot dog is like way down.
Yeah.
Way
but
down.
Still better. But then again, he's at a sporting event, so more than likely that beer cost minimum $12.
Oh, it was the Yankee Met games. It was probably
that's like a $30
$74 beer.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a unfortunate situation for that gentleman. But hey, man,
A nice beef dog and a brew. I don't see the problem.
Kosher. A good
my
kosher
favorite part
dog.
about it was that when he put the straw in there to create the straw out of the hot dog, right? He took the stuff out of the straw and ate the hot dog. So I mean, it's this is totally appropriate. It's all going in the same place anyway. What do we care?
Thank you.
A modern day hero.
Can we get him on the podcast is the question. All right. Let's kick it over to Dan.
We'll be starting off with the coin flip question to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play, each with a different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see your today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
All right, it's time for the coin flip, a 50-50 warm-up question worth 10 points, and this will go to the guest and Mason. So I already forgot your team name. Third Leg Greg, is that what it was? Beer Straws, Third Leg Greg. They're all similar. So coin flip question today. I like to keep mine a little more complicated. Who has more career touchdown passes as a New York Jet? Chad Pennington, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Brett Favre, or Vinny Testaverde, Boomer Esiason, and Geno Smith?
It's got to be close, guys. Just a coin flip. Just pick one.
I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd probably go with the second group because it's slightly less star-studded. For me, I'm gonna lean a little bit more toward the second group, like I said, because Favre was only a season.
Right. And Testaverde had a couple of big years.
Geno had like one decent year in there, but that's about it.
I mean, it doesn't account for the many interceptions that both of them threw, which is not part of the question. So I would say the second group, Testaverde and Geno before he got punched in the face.
Yeah, by his own teammate. Yeah. We're gonna go with the second group of gentlemen.
Okay. So we'll break this down. Brett Favre, 22 touchdowns. Geno Smith, 28. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 43. Boomer Esiason, 49. Chad Pennington, 82. Vinny Testaverde, 77. So let's do the math.
I was told there would be no math.
The second group had 154. So Testaverde, Esiason, and Geno Smith with 154. The other group, 147. You guys get your points. So heading into the first quarter, we have third leg Greg, 10 points. And hot dog beer straws, 0.
But do we really just have 0?
Oh, sorry. You have a hot dog beer straw and 0 points.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Today's
Priceless.
Before we get to the first quarter, we wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Today's first quarter will be David versus Lux.
David versus Goliath. This quarter will consist of 3 pairs of questions, one easier, David, and one harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, the teams will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 25 points, and each Goliath question is worth 50 points.
All right, this edition of David versus Goliath will be the New York Jets alma mater edition. So I'm going to give you 2 New York Jets. To basically, I need to know what college they went to. One will be significantly harder, at least in my mind. So question number 1, the David. We have Al Toon, and the Goliath, Dennis Bird.
You want to just check in with that one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Eric, we're going to check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws checking in. Third leg Greg. Talk it out.
I don't think they both went to the same school.
That's the only thing I have to reason off of this, and this is just random because I know you played for the Saints for a brief time. But his son, Nick Toon, went to Wisconsin. I know that for a fact. It's possible they went to the same university, but that's the only thing I have on any of this. The only other thing that comes up. So Josh will hate this video game knowledge here. When I had NCAA 14, there was the Ultimate Team, and I've had Al Toon on my team. I'm just trying to remember what the picture was because they had a picture of him in his college jersey, and I vaguely have a recollection it was red and white, but it may not be Wisconsin. That's just a random thought in my head. So
no, it's better than, as I said in the chat. I'm thinking of Dennis Bird in the Northeast. I want to say Temple for some reason, and I don't know why. But the only image of him I have in my head is when he got paralyzed, which is a terrible image to have in my head. But he walked again, so he's got that going for him. But yeah, I guess we can go with Wisconsin.
Okay, we'll go David, Wisconsin.
All right, and Beer Straws.
Yeah, Al Toon went to Wisconsin.
All right, so the David Al Toon did go to the same school as his son, which is Wisconsin. And Scott, you had Dennis Bird going to Temple. He went to a different school that started with a T. Dennis Bird went to Tulsa. All right, question number 2, David versus Goliath. We have the David being Kevin Mawai and the Goliath, Ray Lucas.
We can check in.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
All right, third leg Greg has checked in, going rogue. Hot Dog Beer Straws, suck it up.
All right, so I heard him say Ray Lucas, and I thought I had an idea, so I forgot even who the David was. What did he say for the David?
Kevin Mawai.
I know the name, but I can't even think of what position he played.
I thought he was an LSU guy.
Okay. I thought Ray Lucas was a Rutgers guy. Because, Rutgers doesn't have really a lot of
They do. Are all of their NFL players named Ray?
So it's like, it's a Ray. I don't know. I thought when I was reading something about Rutgers is that he went there, but I don't know a lot about him. I just know the name.
Stop. Time out. You were reading stuff about Rutgers.
No, like when they were playing.
They're a Big Ten team now, man.
All right. They pretend to be. Yes, go ahead. Continue.
Because he was a '90s era quarterback, right?
I'm
not guaranteed on that. And if you're saying you're not even quite sure,
I'm pretty sure Mawai is an LSU guy.
All right, well, you go ahead and go with whatever you want. I'd say my confidence on that is it's just that's what I recall. So maybe 50%.
You want to flip a coin? I don't really care.
I don't care. I don't have a coin near me. You do whatever you want to do. You do the voodoo that you do.
Logo is Mawai and no logo is
okay. Cool.
Is your guess?
Go with that. Ooh, yeah.
All right. It was no logo.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Ray Lucas, and we're gonna go with Rutgers.
And third leg, Greg.
We checked in with the Goliath and Ray Lucas at Rutgers as well.
All right. Kevin Mawai, Mr. Walling did go to LSU. And for the Goliath, Ray Lucas is a Scarlet Knight of Rutgers. So both teams getting their points. Nice work. Bringing us to question number 3. The David, Jericho Kochery. The Goliath, Mike DeVito.
Yeah, we'll check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws checking in. Third leg, Greg. Whip it out.
Good thing this is an audio medium. Anyway.
Zoop.
Okay, so neither one of us has anything on Mike DeVito. So, yeah, I couldn't remember Kotite off the top of my head, honestly, but what you said makes sense. So,
I'm good with that.
yeah, go ahead and check it in.
We'll check in Jericho Kotite, NC State.
Okay, and hot dogs and beer straws.
Hot dogs and beer straws.
Yeah, all of them.
Together.
All of them, all at once.
Wow,
All
we're
the
breaking
things.
ground here on snacks. Yeah, come to us, Yankees, if you need new snack ideas. Yeah, I remembered Kotite being NC State, so we also checked in with Jericho Kotite as an NC State Wolfpacker.
All right. Both teams getting points. Jericho Kotite did go to NC State. What nobody knew was the Goliath, which is Mr. DeVito, is a black bear from Maine.
Colonial Athletic football.
Mark Grenier probably knew that.
Probably got his jersey.
Come on, guys. Don't you know anything about all these Northeastern colleges that don't turn out NFL players?
After the first quarter, we have a score of hot dog beer straws 100. Third leg Greg with 110. And that brings us to the second quarter, or the second quarter, as I almost said. And that will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 5 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 20 points.
Words are hard.
They are. Especially when you gotta read them.
We all know Ede hates to read.
Oh, it's the worst.
I got some books over here you can also not read.
He's got a list of things that he doesn't like. It's just
Women
growing every
reading.
day.
Women.
Imagine a woman that writes a book. He's just like, no, not even
Ugh.
restraining order
Halftime
against it.
The
questions.
top of
Josh
a
Allen
woman reading
a book.
reading a book of halftime questions.
wearing a
It's just
Buffalo
being
Sabres
like-
jersey.
Josh Allen
So-
jersey would be way
Josh
worse.
Allen jersey.
A Josh Allen Sabres jersey.
I don't know. You drafted him, so you must like
Listen,
him.
I don't like him.
You could have not taken him,
I could have.
option.
I lied. I
But
got
you did.
Brandon Ayuk.
Nice. Topless. All right. Question number 1 of pre and post game. Wake Forest D end, who was drafted by the Cardinals but spent his final 8 years with the Jets, and was a point guard drafted in the first round who averaged less than 2 assists per game in the NBA, but did have his number retired by Texas A&M. I have a brief clarification here. I don't know where I got DN from, but everywhere I'm looking right now says linebacker. So
Oh,
Well, that
changed anything.
I don't know if that helps.
I mean, it might.
We're going to check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws has checked in. Third leg Greg, you guys can now talk it out.
Good.
that fits more in line with Aaron Curry. I can't think of another D end or a linebacker from Wake Forest.
I don't know if he was drafted by the Cardinals, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he wasn't drafted by the Jets. I know that.
okay, well then it's very possible.
It
So-
still leads us to the back half.
Yeah, so something that starts with re. And I mean, if it's a point guard that averaged less than two assists a game, but still had a number retired, either really prolific in college and flat out failed in the NBA, or it's some other thing that they're retired for,
Right.
like a coach or I don't know, something else. But I can't think of a Texas A&M point guard, like
I
just
can't
in general.
think of the Texas A&M basketball. I didn't even know they had a basketball program. I wasn't tested.
They do. It's just I can't think of a guy that I can't even think of a name that works with that.
I got nothing because I'm not 100% confident in the first part.
All right, Aaron Kerr. I don't even. I can't even come up with something. This
Aaron
Curry powder.
Manziel.
Oh, there you go. Or that's fine too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Hot dog, beer straw is your answer.
We worked back to front the way God intended. As a almost attended Texas A&M, or I remember the glory days of AC Law as the point guard at Texas A&M when I handed it over to my partner, Matt.
Well, he said AC Law, and I thought, well, the last name has to be like something that ends with Ace or something. And I remember there was a defensive player whose last name was Pace. I couldn't remember what his first name was, and he came up with Calvin Pace. So we checked in with Calvin Pacey Law.
All right, one team getting their points. The correct answer is Calvin Pacey Law. And now so you go on Wikipedia, it says he's a linebacker. You go on Pro Football Reference, it says he's a DN. So who knows what he was. All right, moving on to question number 2. This defensive end, I hope he was a defensive end, who played 7 years in the NFL, is a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. In a losing effort, was the defensive MVP of the 1991 Orange Bowl, and is a winger from Slovakia who is probably best known for his gruesome injury, having his common carotid artery sliced by a skate of his teammate Ole Jokinen during a game in 2008.
You want to just go with that last one? It seems
The one that I put down?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. We'll check in, Eric, I guess.
Okay. Yep.
Hot Dog Beer Straws is checked in. Third leg, Greg. You're up again.
Wish we weren't, because I have nothing. I think the 91 Orange Bowl had Miami in it, but I don't. It's a losing effort, so even if we had to figure out who lost the game.
Was Miami in the ACC at that point?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. That area is kind of fuzzy for me in general.
Yeah, I feel like that's too early. Because I know because the Orange Bowl's got an ACC tie-in now, or
Right.
previous it did before they changed everything up and messed with history.
The only other way I'm trying to get there, so this person was the 91 defensive MVP of this game. So they probably drafted, 91, 92, played until the late 90s. So College Football Hall of Fame, so someone who's pretty prolific in college.
I'm gonna need an answer, guys.
We have less than what we had last time. We had one name last time that wasn't even right. Now we have nothing.
There's probably a ski in the name in the Slovakian hat.
There you go. We could try. We did this really early on the podcast. The ski as the last name, so we can do that.
Robert Neeson.
Yeah, but see, it's worked. It's worked before. It could work again. But I don't even have anything to put together.
I got nothing.
I think we're gonna have to punt on this one.
All right, punting. Hot Dog Beer Straws. What do you got?
Yeah, the dude who got his throat slit on national television was Richard Zednick. I remember that. And then I passed it to my teammate because we worked back to front as God intended.
We were both sitting there racking our head about that one. And as soon as that popped up, I'm like, yes, Richard. Okay. So now I had to think of something that ends with Rich. And the only guy I could think of, there was a college football name that I remember from the 90s. Last name is Zorich. But then we couldn't think of his first name. So we threw around Steve, Jim, and finally we settled on Chris because that name sparked something for me. So maybe Chris Zorich Zednick.
So the 91 Orange Bowl, the Colorado Buffaloes defeated Notre Dame. And one team will be getting their points. The correct answer is Chris Zorichard Zednick.
We picked the first name.
You gave me 12 years to get any of the 4 names in this round. I would have never gotten any of them. I recognize the first 2. The last 2, you just picked random Z last names and just went with it.
It's going to get easier, Mason. This one I know you guys will get. I know it.
Yeah, you overestimate us.
This LSU player was an LSU player.
Yeah. This guy went to LSU and dormed with Mason Giat.
And did not.
He didn't dorm. All right.
Definitely didn't. They were in their own special area.
I didn't fact check that. I apologize. All right. Question number 3. Pitcher that signed with the Yankees in the early 2000s made his last appearance in 2012 with the Twins and was a lottery pick in 2014. So far in his 7-year career, he has played for 7 different teams.
Is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's about the right time frame. Kind of like that. Put together
Yeah, I mean,
we have.
I think that's 7 teams. I have actually met him. I'm surprised that 6 more teams signed him. If that's who it is.
Yeah, he fits that. So I'm fine with that. If you want to go with the name.
Yeah, go ahead and check that in.
Yeah, we'll check in.
All right, third leg. Greg checked in. Hot dog, beer straws. What you got?
I've been a ton of help on this question.
Yeah.
Just, I've been doing all the lifting. Eric's over there just kind of,
He drew me a picture of Carl Pavano in his Yankees jersey that every Yankee fan wishes they could forget.
I keep trying. That's why I drink.
He looks handsome in it, but not as handsome as the salary they paid him.
A lot of money.
It was. So
I have no idea on the 2014 lottery. I'm assuming when he says lottery, he's not talking about the Powerball or the Mega Millions. So I'm assuming this is the NBA.
Yes.
Which
that was the Carl Pavano one.
Yeah.
The lottery pick. He played for the Mega Millions and the Powerball.
Man.
So
I am
my vast NBA knowledge from 2014 to present.
I remember that was Andrew Wiggins. It's about
Carl Pavano.
Pavandrew Wiggins. Carl Pavandrew Wiggins.
I'm pretty sure Andrew Wiggins doesn't play with 7 different teams in 7 years, but
no.
All right, guys, I'm gonna need an answer.
Okay, let's go. We'll check in with Carl Pavan Noah Joachim. I did his name backwards.
Third leg, Greg.
I thought he was about to stumble into something for a moment.
Yeah.
He almost stumbled into something. So Scott came up with the first half because I forgot about that. But yeah, Carl Pavano made sense. And I remembered around that time, because it's the Wiggins draft, there was a guy named Noah something, and I couldn't remember the last name, and luckily Scott pulled it. So he basically did all the work here. I just kind of helped with the glue in the middle. We checked in with Carl Pavan Noah Vonleh.
Noah who?
Vonleh.
I remember the name, but I don't remember the player.
Because he's forgettable.
Yeah.
One team getting points. The correct answer is Carl Pavan Noah Vonleh. Mr. Vonleh has played for the Hornets, the Trailblazers, the Bulls, the Knicks, the T-Wolves, the Nuggets, and most recently the Brooklyn Nets.
I met him when he was playing in Charlotte at a bar watching a Jets-Bills game.
So everything about that story is
that's
terrible.
just sad. It's all sad. All right.
Was he drinking a beer through a hot dog straw?
Oh, that would have made him big. He would have. So
he had
yeah,
a third leg. Anyway.
My hero.
I didn't
So-
check.
So one thing about Carl Pavano is he signed a 4-year, $39.95 million contract with the Yankees. However, he was offered larger contracts from Boston, Detroit, and Cincinnati. So he's a stand-up dude. He wanted to steal from the Yankees. That's why he's like, no, let's just take from them. And I
They had money
appreciate that.
they had money to burn.
All right. Question number 4. New York Jets GM for 5 years in the early 2000s and was a undrafted wide receiver who spent his entire career in New York and was number 10 on the NFL's Film's top 10 undrafted players.
Okay. I don't recognize the other part. I agree with the first part you said.
Okay, and I'm positive.
Okay, that's fine. That's not a name I'd heard of, but I trust you on that. So yeah, fair enough.
All right, we can check in.
Oh, geez.
Third leg Greg checked in. That gives hot dog beer straws about 3 minutes to talk about.
Okay, good.
I even if you would tell me, I mean, it's like a lineup of 6 different human beings that were at one point Jets general managers. I have no clue.
I know one. I know 2. Bill Parcells.
Okay,
But that was
I could probably
before
that
that. And before him, I think it was Rich Kotite.
Rich Kotite. Yeah,
yes.
There you go. I think Ron Wolf might even been the GM like back in the 80s for like a hot minute or something. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. I got nothing here.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I'm lost on the.
Even if we had the
which
wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't know that we could get back to the. So what name do you want to make up? Let's come up with a fun name. Hot dog McStraw face.
He was a running back.
He was.
Back in the 30s, yes. Good old hot dog.
Good. Nobody wanted to get in the way of his hot dog straw
That's
face.
the problem with the pre and the post games. You can't do like a Lucky Johnson or something like that. It has to be a Lucky
Johnson.
Jim, John, Sonny Jurgensen kind of a deal. You know, it's got to have the Sonny Jurgensen at the
Yeah,
end.
Jim Johnson, the relief pitcher, and Sonny Jurgensen, the quarterback.
Sonny Johnson. Sonny Johnson.
I like it. We're gonna go.
Right.
We're gonna check in Eric with
John Johnson-y Johnson. Double Lucky Johnson.
Okay. And hot dog beer straw. You already gave me your answer. Third leg Greg, what do you got?
Mostly Scott, or all Scott.
Terry, Brad, Wayne, Corbett.
One team getting their points. The correct answer is Terry, Brad, Wayne, Corbett.
I found an old. I'll see if I can pull it up because when I was cleaning the office the other day, remember those like Pro Line cards that were never in uniform. They were just like the guys like hanging out around workout equipment. Well,
Yes.
Rich Kotite's is him in like a Jets Christmas sweater. It's around here somewhere. I'll see if I can find it.
So
Probably
the name
highlight
is
of his tenure.
It really was.
the guy's name is Terry Bradwayne.
Brad Way.
Bradway. Oh,
That's what I kind of figured based on that. He just sent me that, and I was like, I guess his name is Terry Bradway because I have no idea otherwise.
Never heard of that name before in my life.
I hadn't either.
Was
He said Wayne
unremarkable.
Corbett right off the back, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
That does make
fits.
sense. Yeah.
And then when he said the second part, I was like, okay, sure. We'll go back to front. There you go.
After the second quarter, we have hot dog beer straws with 150 and third leg Greg still holding that 10-point lead, 160. So that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 5 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 20 points.
So today's halftime will be terrible.
That is his want to be.
I will list 4 characters from a sports movie. You just have to name the movie.
All right, Scott, you got this because I'm not going to be able to get any of these. So sorry.
Question number 1. The characters are Paco, Walter, Roberto, and Farmer Fran.
You're right.
Okay. All right. We'll check in.
Third leg Greg checked in. Hot dog beer straws talking about.
Yeah, Matt, I think the role of Farmer Fran was later played by Ed Orgeron. Because I'm pretty sure that's
The assistant coach and water boy.
No, it's the all I can picture is him on the sidelines, shirtless, playing with his nipples.
Playing with his nipples.
Yes, from the Water Boy.
Yep. I wrote down the only Farmer Fran I can remember. Oh no, you wrote that.
Yeah.
The Louisiana football Adam Sandler movie. I couldn't remember.
That's the generic name for it.
Yeah.
It's the off-brand.
The one they sell at Walmart in Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
Mason,
right.
can you do your
Is that like the Louisiana
Creole accent impression of Farmer Fran for us?
I mean, Farmer Fran sounded like this. Remember that time when we came up? And that's what he sounded like. That's literally what he sounded like. So it's not. Coach O was a little bit like, "Oh, gotta go. You gotta run the ball. Gotta go down the field and go Tigers." So there's a difference because it's the pitch that you have to deal with. But yes,
Mason appears to be cracking up someone else in his house.
yes,
as well.
yes. His laughter coming from inside the house. Yes. Anyway.
All right. So somebody give me answers. I don't even know who the hell's supposed to be doing that right now.
All right. Well, I'll give it for my team. I only recognize 2 of these. Surprisingly, I've watched this movie more times than I should have. Roberto was the name of Bobby's dad after he moved to New Orleans, where he loved 2 things in his life: big city living and a voodoo woman named Phyllis. And then Farmer Fran was one of the assistant coaches, but I don't know who the other 2 people are. So, but yeah, we checked in Waterboy.
You guys said Waterboy too, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So Paco and Walter were the 2 gentlemen in the stands who would argue about different players.
Yeah, the one with
Joe Montana.
They spill their beer on Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher. Yeah, that's right.
So both teams getting their points. The correct answer is the Waterboy. Bringing us to question 2, and it gets better. Question number 2. Derek, Martha Johnstone, Justin, and Lance Armstrong.
We can check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws checked in. Third Leg Greg.
Yeah, another movie I've seen far too many times. This one, I actually think I know all 4 of them. Martha Johnstone's the cheerleader that falls on Justin. Derek is the boyfriend of Justin's love interest. I forgot what her name is. And then Lance Armstrong's in the bar. So yeah, this is Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Okay, and Hot Dog Beer Straws.
Yeah, we checked in with Dodgeball, true underdog story also. You got a, what is it? Dip, duck?
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and
Dip,
dodge.
dive, and dodge.
Both teams getting their points. The correct answer is Dodgeball. Question number 3. The characters are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Greg Louganis, Christy Yamaguchi, and Mr. Tibbles.
What was that last name? Mr. what?
Tibbles.
Tibbles?
Tibbles. Tibbles.
Tibbles.
Like Kibbles, but with a T.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like Tibbles with a T.
Tibbles and Bits. I'm trying to process this group here. What kind of movie all these people would be in?
Who was the second name?
Greg Louganis. Does that help you at all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have people in 3
follow his
different sports.
Follow his career religiously. Kind of fell off after he smacked his head on a diving board, but
I feel like he did that on purpose.
Yes, I've heard one like that before.
I think that's it, Matt.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws checked in. Third Leg Greg. You got a minute.
So yeah, I don't even know what sport this movie is, because we have basketball, skating, and swimming. So like
I feel like the last one is a cat.
okay,
I don't.
all right,
I don't know why. I think the
okay.
last one is
So
a
what
cat.
what sports movie has a cat?
Isn't there a scene in Voids of Glory when Will Ferrell is holding a cat?
Is Kareem and Greg Louganis, could they possibly have been in that movie? I haven't seen Blades of Glory, so I don't know. I mean, this could be something not even any of these sports. Like you said, it could be a bunch of cameos. This could be
Right.
This could be a soccer movie or like a baseball movie. It could just be anything. I don't know what this is.
I would
Okay,
love to
so
see Kareem have played baseball. That would have been great.
I'm going to need an answer.
All right. Since you have something with Mr. Tibbles being a cat, you want to go Blades of Glory? I have no idea.
We're gonna check in with Blades of Glory.
And Hot Dog Beer Straws. What do you got?
Well, I know how much you love Harry Potter, and Mr. Tibbles sounds like a Harry Potter character. But I don't think those athletes exist in that universe.
What?
Well, I don't. They at least don't show them. I've
It's
seen
a
the
sports
movie.
movie.
Plus,
Sports.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
are they
more
in
importantly,
they're in the stands in those Quidditch matches.
More importantly, I would take 5-1 odds. The opposite, that Eric's probably never watched a
Mr.
single
Tibbles.
Harry Potter movie. He doesn't seem like the Harry Potter kind of guy.
So Matt and I were banding movies back and forth, and I remember a scene where a certain Team USA was being led through a press conference and meeting a bunch of different U.S. athletes as inspiration. And that team was the one and only Mighty Ducks. So we checked in with Mighty Ducks Part 2.
I believe it was technically called D2.
D2.
Of course,
the
you would
Mighty
ask a
Ducks.
Mighty
or
Ducks
something like
question.
that,
It's been
yeah.
too long. Of
The
course you
Mighty
would do that.
Ducks.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
And the only reason that came up, we had no clue until I had brought it up. Is like, well, this is Eric. It's got to be a 90s trash, stupid
Yeah.
movie that Eric likes, because we're
Should have thought about stupid
we're
movies
hitting on
Eric likes.
100%
That's
here
there.
for Eric's genres. So I'm surprised we didn't get a basketball question in this here. So
Unfortunately,
No, is it the first one?
hot dog beer straws will be getting some points.
Yes.
The correct answer is D2, the Mighty Ducks. Mr. Tibbles is the owner of Hendricks Hockey.
Oh.
So yeah. And Matt, I do pride myself on being probably the only person in the world who's never seen a Harry Potter movie, but has been to Harry Potter World.
I would have won money.
So-
I would have won
I've
money.
never
if
seen
I
it
would have
either,
been on
so,
that.
but that's not
I'm
surprising.
gonna look up Mr. Tibbles. Mr. Tibbles was a cat owned by Arbella Fig in the Harry Potter fit.
Hey.
So if the other
Way to
three
go.
were in Harry Potter, then that would be an
Way to
acceptable
ask an
answer.
inadvertent Harry Potter question.
Oh, I'm now sick.
Way to go.
All right. So after halftime, we have a lead change. Third leg Greg with 210 and hot dog beer straws pulling out into the lead with 225. All right. Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Today's third quarter will be let it ride or throw in the towel.
Let it ride or throw in the towel. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in a given category that increase in difficulty. After each question, teams can decide to let it ride and attempt the next question, or throw in the towel and take the points they have accumulated to that point. Each question is worth 50 points. If a team answers incorrectly, they will lose half of their points accumulated in the quarter.
All right, we ready?
No.
Well, today's third quarter will be let it ride or throw in the towel. A very special edition for our guest. This will be
more Mets or
more-
more Jets stuff or something.
Maybe.
Jeez, come on.
it's actually going to be the New York record book. Let it ride or throw in the towel.
Now, I want everyone out there who's listening to hear this, because when we have new guests on, we throw some wheelhouse questions into there, right? But not like 80% of the game. For the
No!
love of Pete, dude.
Hey, no, write what you know, and Eric knows New York.
Right? Listen,
It's
I
literally
can
been
write
every
60
question except halftime.
Well, like an entire round just of the New York Jets.
Coin flip, first quarter, second quarter, all had sport and New York sports stuff.
Thank you.
yeah.
Now a third. So yeah, it's a whole
Okay,
game.
so
It's a
I'm not
theme.
good with statistics, but Mason,
This
can
is
you
where-
add up the numbers here. So far we've had 3 questions that were not directly in Scott's wheelhouse, right? So he's doing the math.
No,
he's grabbing his abacus.
He didn't.
Here we
AC,
go.
They couldn't
Texas
even
A&M. Texas A&M is not a New York school.
Calvin Pace. The Calvin
81.2%.
Pace part.
It did.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing about damn Yankees in halftime.
I feel like you missed out.
Honestly,
Broadway.
isn't that just an 80s band? That's all I know.
Yes.
It's also
Were
not
they
wrong.
80s? I thought they were 90s.
Mr.
Oh, no.
Tibbles
Damn Yankees
two
is
things.
80s.
Oh, yeah.
So question 1 of the third quarter. I want to know the New York Yankees single-season home run record holder.
Overthink this one.
Yeah, we'll check in.
Yeah.
Hot Dog Beer Straws has checked in. Third leg Greg. What do you got?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, we're not going to overthink it.
Yeah, it's got to be. Nobody's passed him. So
No.
Yeah. Go ahead and check it in.
Check in with Roger Maris.
All right. And Hot Dog Beer Straws.
Much like this team, this man has been unnecessarily assigned an asterisk. We will check in with Roger Maris.
Both teams getting their points. The correct answer, one Roger Maris. He had 61 home runs in 1961. Question number 2. We need to know if you guys are going to let it ride or throw in the towel.
We're going to let it ride.
And Greg?
Yep.
All right. Question number 2. I want to know who is the New York Rangers career wins leader. Not a coach, not coaching.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. We can check in.
All right. Third leg Greg's checked in. Hot Dog Beer Straws. Talk it out.
So
No,
I threw.
was he a goal? What am I thinking of? I think I might be off. Hold on a second. Forget. I'm even talking. Go
Okay.
back to your names
All right, well,
there.
My names were Mike Richter and Henrik Lundqvist. They're
You think you like
longer
Lundqvist
yeah.
better than Richter?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's go with Lundqvist.
And third leg Greg.
Yeah, we also checked in with King Henrik.
Okay. So I heard Mr. Richter's name pop up. So Henrik Lundqvist played 15 years. Mike Richter played 14 years. One played 666 games, and the other one played 887 games. And that distinction of most wins in a career as a Ranger, both played their entire careers for the Rangers, goes to Henrik Lundqvist. Both teams getting their points.
Yeah, Lundqvist left and went to the Capitals, and then they found out he had a heart condition after he retired. So he never ended up playing for anybody else.
All right, so the question will be, are you guys going to let it ride or throw in the towel?
You want to go on, Scott?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All the points are made at Walling. Who cares?
Oh yeah, that's right. Do it.
Oh, really? Because there's bonus points headed your way, guys.
Dang, darn it!
Not anymore.
Oh, the bonus points are real.
Yeah, those are real. Those count. All right. Question number 3, let it ride, throw in the towel. I want the New York Knicks single season record holder for the most steals. Total steals.
We're gonna check in.
Hot Dog Beer Straws checking in. Third leg Greg. What you got?
Bunch of names. Just trying to figure out. My first thought, just trying to think of guys, was Walt Frazier. So I know he had a good number for those early 70s teams. That's where I'm kind of gravitating, just because I can name a bunch of those guys. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's I think we were talking. It's kind of those two eras. It's the '70s teams that were good and won, and then the '90s teams that played defense and got into fights with the Heat and choked games away to Reggie Miller. But that was more ugly rock fight basketball.
Yeah. So that's what that kind of leads me to thinking about those 70s teams. But I just.
No, I mean, Frazier was one of the first two names that we both came up with. So,
yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, because this is a third one. Maybe it's someone less obvious, but I don't want to.
I'm thinking it's my brain went to a guard, but then as I was going through those later teams, like I can remember Anthony Mason having a bunch of steals as an oversized small forward, but
Do you think it's enough to be a leader? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 1 year though. Just could be one of those flash in the pan years.
I mean, if you think that might be something, I'm fine with that. I don't have anything strong on this. I have some weak signals, and that's all I have.
Frazier, King, and Mason, I could toss them. Let's just go with Mason because it's your name.
I guess that's as good as logic as any, I suppose. Because okay, all right.
So we'll check in with Anthony Mason.
Okay, and hot dog, beer straws. What answer do you got?
We tossed around a bunch of names. Eric's first one that he came up with was Charlie Ward. Then I said a name that of a guy that I could think of from the 80s was Darrell Walker. And then we both at the same time typed Mark Jackson, late 80s guy. So we figured since we both typed his name, let's go with Mark Jackson.
Unfortunately, neither team will be getting points.
Doesn't happen very often here, but
this man set the record in 1979, 1980.
Oh.
His name, his three names, if you will, is Michael Ray Richardson.
Vaguely recall
that is a serial killer, and I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe that this was a real person.
Unfortunately, everyone is out. But for fun, because I wrote the question, you might as well say it. Question number 4 was going to be the New York Jets' most receiving touchdowns in a single season. There are 3 players tied, and I would need you to name 2 of them. If you could get all 3, you would have got bonus points, but nobody's going to get to answer that question. Anybody? Can somebody name one? Go.
Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall's one. 2015.
Keyshawn?
No.
Plaxico.
Both of these were in the 60s.
Don
yeah, I was gonna say Maynard. Probably
Don Maynard is one.
And I'm trying to think of the other guys they had.
This man did it in 1960.
Ooh, I was back in the Titans days.
Yeah, Maynard's the only old name I have for that team. So
yeah, that's from the Super Bowl team. I got nothing.
The third one was Art Powell.
Oh, I recognize it.
So after the third quarter, we have a score of Third Leg Greg with 260 and Hot Dog Beer Straws holding on with 275. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
Did you throw it unenthusiastically to Dan again?
Oh, hey, Dan, you want to read the rules for me real quick? I don't care what you're doing. Just do it.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
Thank you, Dan. All right. The categories for today are as follows. And I told you guys it's going to be a little lowbrow today. I don't care. Question number 1, it will be the category Beavers. Question number 2 will be the category Cox. Question number 3, anybody? Category is going to be Clams. And question number 4, the category is Nuts.
I don't understand the references.
Yeah.
I don't either.
They're all foods.
Yes.
Is there some sort of innuendo you're trying to make here?
No, these are, when you hear the questions, you'll understand the categories.
These
so
are
question number 1.
Yeah.
Question number 1, Beavers, will be in regards to college football. Question number 2, Cox, also college football. Question number 3, Clams, baseball. And question number 4, Nuts, will be golf. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question number 1, category Beavers. The Oregon State Beavers have had 6 players drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. Brandon Cooks being the most recent, selected 20th overall in 2014. What Heisman Trophy winning Beaver was selected first overall in the 1963 draft by the LA Rams?
Can we phone a friend?
Yeah, can we phone a friend? I think I know a guy who might know this.
The only way to make sure he knew it even more would be if he went to Brown and was from Oregon.
I have no idea if that's right or not, but
All yours.
we're going to check in.
All right. Hot Dog Beer Straw's checked in, and I'm going to need an answer from Third Leg Greg.
That's not the right name. That's the
No.
first name that popped into my brain and just floating around in there.
Yeah, because I have guys around there. I can name 59 and 63, so at least I have a time frame to kind of pin someone. But 59 is Billy Cannon, 63 is Staubach. I don't know who won in between there. I'm guessing it's the 62 Heisman winner. They got drafted first in 63.
Right.
But I couldn't tell you for the life of me what his name was that started on those Rams teams. Is there a last name you want to go with? Just pick a random last name. I mean, Walling tried Johnson earlier. Twice.
It's a double Johnson.
So third time's the charm, right?
Yep. Let's go with it.
Let's go with Johnson because we have nothing else better for 100.
Hot Dog Beer Straw's your answer and wager, please.
So the very first thing I said, Mason, was the exact same as your conversations. Like, I know 1963 was Staubach. And I know at one point I knew all these early 60s Heisman guys because Marcus did like that whole, like a rounder, like an entire episode just on Heisman Trophy winners or something a while back. And I remember hearing the name when Baker Mayfield was doing good that there was another person whose last name was Baker that won the Heisman or whatever. So I don't know if he played for the Rams, and I have no idea if he went to Oregon State, but I remember in the early 60s, there was a guy whose last name was Baker that won. So we checked in with Baker for 50 points.
So everyone gives, who was that gentleman? Jamarcus Russell a very hard time for being like the all-time biggest bust. I feel like this guy holds a candle to it because he's terrible. He lasted 3 years in the league, started 4 games, only attempted 21 passes
In 4 games?
Jeez.
I mean, it's back in the 60s, but still.
1964.
Somewhere Chase Daniel is nodding.
here's the stat line from 1965. He played in 9 games, started 3 of them. He went 1 for 1 for 14 yards.
Hey.
137.6 QB rating.
His QB rating was a 118.7.
Oh, there you go.
Efficient.
There you go.
So one team will be getting their points. The correct answer is Terry Baker.
Nope.
Yep. Hoping his name was Terry Johnson, but it was not.
The worst number 1 overall pick. And I will say that right now, he's the worst number 1 overall pick in the history of the NFL.
Sounds pretty bad.
AFL, whatever you want to call him.
I might have just used all of the energy that I have on that one question. So it might be just you the rest of the game here.
Good. There's a college football question coming up.
Yeah.
Or is it?
1920s hockey. There it is.
Or is it college football about cocks that really is about hockey?
Jay Brent.
Question number 2 in the category Cox. Most sports fans remember the highlight reel hit by Jadeveon Clowney in the 2013 Outback Bowl. Name either the running back on the receiving end of the hit or the quarterback that handed him the ball. Unfortunately, neither would have a significant pro career, but one was the 2016 XFL Rookie of the Year.
We'll check in.
Third Leg Greg has checked in. Hot Dog Beer Straws. Talk it out.
Not much to talk about.
Lots
here.
of great names we throw around here. It was just, things like Johnson and
Sean
Smith and Jones and
John Sonny Johnson.
Just threw around a whole bunch of lucky names,
Yep.
Well, we just
Jimerson. Well, I think we settled on a guy from roughly the right time frame, and I don't know if this was too early or too late, but he could have been playing either or both positions at the same time. So we're going to check in with Denard Robinson for 50
I thought we were
points.
just going to do Robinson.
Okay, let's do Robinson, but you know who I'm talking about for 50 points.
Third Leg Greg, answer and wager.
So we mentioned Denard Robinson in our chat. For some reason, I remember this guy because it was such a big thing, but this quarterback that was there, he wore like 98 or something, and it was because of, I think it was Mark Harmon's dad or something. It was somebody that played at Michigan or something, and he wore a weird number. And for some reason, I remember him either still being there or maybe it was that same season. Scott said Denard Robinson. I was like, it's something close to that because he would have been later. And finally, I pulled the name Devin Gardner. So that's what we checked in with for 100.
So the running back that nobody wanted to go with was
Coming
not
from the 20s.
Was not Denard Robinson because he was the leading rusher for Michigan that game, but the man that got crushed was Vincent Smith.
We would have had it with the Lucky Smith.
Wow.
Should have gone generic.
And the quarterback that handed him the ball was also not Denard Robinson. It was one Devin Gardner. So
That's
one
Paul
team
Martin.
getting their points.
That's the only thing, because I remember around that time he wore that weird number, and that's something that stuck in my head. Like, why did he wear 98?
Yeah. It was something to do with Mark Harmon's dad.
Yeah, it was like something they were dedicating it or something. Like he passed away and he wore it or something. Yeah, I remember something to do with that. That's what stuck in my head.
I heard a discussion the other day, and I'm curious what your thought is. What's the worst football number? 43.
Let's say 47.
Talk amongst
I like
yourselves.
43. I like the 40s. The 40s are good. I want to say 71.
Love how we're just picking prime numbers. That's 60, we just think prime numbers are ugly.
62. I love how Mason immediately went to prime numbers.
I mean, 43, 47, 71. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not pretty. They're
not even. They don't end in 5. Yeah. You know, it's
They don't line up with positions well.
Right.
Or like 19. 19's kind of weird.
19's a bad quarterback number.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's a terrible quarterback number. It's kind of a cool wide receiver number, but 20 I think is worse. Like I don't know. It feels like it's weird, stuck in between running back, wide receiver, and nobody. Anyway.
Safety.
Sorry if we've offended anyone, but your numbers suck if you wear those.
All right. So after 2 questions in the fourth quarter, we are back to where we started.
Wow. Great progress.
Hot dog beer straws, $2.75. Third leg Greg, $2.60. On to question number 4. 3. Let's do 3 first.
Threesa.
We're going to do 3 before 4. We're
revolutionary.
It's
the number of the counting shall be 3.
We're trending on Twitter as we speak for this category name. Oh no, this because it's the category name. I got a little too excited. Category is clams. And the question: on April 2nd, 2016, what AA team hosted an exhibition game against the Milwaukee Brewers? A 7-4 loss attended by 5,152 people. This was the first time a major league team played in this city since 1938, when the Phillies held spring training there. And I am going to be a stickler. I need the city and the team name.
You want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll check in.
Hot dog beer straws checked in. Third leg Greg, talk it out.
We're thinking this is whatever the Brewers AA affiliate is, but we have no idea who they are. I'm trying to go off of the name. So category's clams. I'm thinking the team name is probably something to do with clams, like a mussel or an oyster or something similar to it.
Yeah.
So if you're named that, you're probably on a coast of some kind. So this is going to be a coastal team, like a shrimp
or something in Mississippi.
I mean that would make sense because there's a lot of oysters down here, or shrimp. Shrimp would make sense. I want to. Is there? Well, I thought there might have been a minor league team named the Shrimp or something close to it.
Yeah. I just don't know if it was like one of those, spoof nights, like the Frisco Rough Riders do a queso cheese night, and they have a whole uniform that's just cheese.
The Albuquerque Isotopes do a green chili cheeseburger night, and their entire uniform is green chili cheeseburgers. It's awesome. They are not the answer to this question.
I figured nor are the Rough Riders.
Yeah.
But Teddy Roosevelt on the hat is still it was well worth the $35 in the gift shop.
It's pretty strong.
It's very possible there's something down here, like in the South, that is named that, but I couldn't tell you where there would be something.
I'm just thinking of big
So
city.
yeah, it's gonna be a decently big city, but not.
not
so, yeah,
not New Orleans.
Well, no, the only thing they had was the baby cakes, and I don't think they might not even still be there anymore. But they were AAA.
Yeah,
they were the
Zephyrs
Zephyrs
for a while. Yeah.
Going along the coast that way.
Biloxi.
That would be on the coast.
I'm thinking everything we drove through on the way from. From
Biloxi is something you would drive through. They have a couple of things that's about it, but that would be on the coast, like a Mobile would be reasonable. But even if we name the city, we still need to come up with team name. So we're kind of on an uphill battle with that because I don't know.
I was leaning towards Florida just because it said spring training and just the history of spring training, having been in Florida. Even if the Phillies are there, I think they're in Fort Myers now, but maybe they were somewhere up the Panhandle.
Like a Pensacola.
Pensacola. Yep. I was in Pensacola. That's where my brain went, but I got no team name.
Okay.
The Pensacola shrimp doesn't.
The Pensacola mussels. I don't know. Pensacola oysters, maybe. I don't know. I don't have much here.
Pensacola sea oysters.
Okay. I mean, it was. I guess
if that's the answer, I'm going on MILB.com and ordering a hat right now.
Yeah. All right. So we have nothing. We're gonna go Pensacola oysters, and if it's, we'll hope for the best. So we're gonna go with that for 30 points.
Hot dog beer straws. Answer and wager.
Cam edit from the category name, and I said, I remember. So I had a question earlier about spring training being in Arkansas for a long time, but that was before this. And then I was like, wait, what if isn't there a clam team? And Matt reminded me that the Shuckers existed, and I said, oh yeah, Biloxi, who will soon be home to soon to be number one overall prospect Jackson Churio, who my friend signed. So I'm very excited about it. Anyway, so we checked in with the Biloxi Shuckers
for 100 points.
One team getting their points. It's about 2 hours from you, Mason. And
Pensacola
the correct answer is the Biloxi Shuckers.
If you get to Pensacola in 2 hours, that's incredible.
He didn't say your method of transportation.
Got some driving to do.
All right, on to question number 4 in the category nuts. What golfer, known for his distinctive and eccentric taste in clothes and fashion, as well as his playing achievements, once was described as the last guy to climb out of the clown car at the circus? He would spend 38 weeks in the top 10 of the world golf ranking in the early 2000s. His best finish at a major was second place at the Open Championship in 1994 and 1997.
Okay, we'll check in.
Hot dogs with beer all over him has checked in.
All up in him, sir.
Your leg, Greg, whip it out one more time.
I have nothing on this. I usually am decent on golf questions. I had nothing. So I'm letting Scott take control of this one because I wouldn't have pulled this name in a million years.
The back part sounds right in terms of the 38 weeks in the top 10, never winning a major, playing well overseas, and I jumped on it from the distinctive and eccentric clothes, and the clown car was just icing on the cake. I think it's we checked in with Jesper Parnevik.
For how many points?
30.
And hot dogs covered in juices. What do you got?
Hot dogs sucking up juices, sir. Please address us by our God-given name. So we went through some bad PG or golfer fashion. We started with Payne Stewart, which isn't bad, it's just weird. And then we went to then we went to Ian Poulter. Obviously John Daly is a style icon, but he has actually won a major. And then I remember the guy with the worst hat in the PGA history. And so we checked in also with Jesper Parnevik for 61 points.
Both teams getting their points. The correct answer is Jesper Parnevik. Yeah, he's a weird Swedish guy.
He always looked mad. He had like resting bitch face for a golfer.
Introduced Tiger to his wife.
That's right. His name is
Tiger, it was
a wife who.
she
It's
was
all
the
his
nanny.
fault. It's all his fault. The downward spiral of Denny's waitresses started.
And Perkins.
His nickname, Spaceman, and he lives in Jupiter, Florida.
I used to live in Jupiter, Florida. I know exactly where he lives. That's why I knew it.
All right, so this game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. Third leg Greg finishes with the same amount of points as they went into the fourth quarter with 260. And our clipboard captains of the game, who will be receiving the special Browning Nagel Award, will be hot dogs floating in hops.
A hops dog.
Hops dog takes this one with a final score of 436.
Yay.
Congratulations, fellas. I tried to. No, whatever. But let's take a minute. I just want to. I want to thank Scott for coming on. Scott, we appreciate your support.
Yes.
I mean, anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely, it was a blast. It was a blast. You definitely did try to make it about as New York heavy as possible, and we just got caught up on a 1960s Heisman about as far from New York as possible.
That had Mason written all over it. That's why I wanted Mason to be with you.
Well,
he let you down.
Thank you for putting the blame on me. I appreciate it. But
it's not on Scott. That's all I gotta say. But no, anything anybody wants to say? Actually, Scott, anything you want to say before we call it a night?
No, it's you. You guys keep me company in the car. In a past life for work, I spent a lot of time in between customers' homes in Jupiter, Florida, and this was good comic relief as I drove around for 8 to 10 hours a day. So it's a shorter commute to work now, but I can still break it up into, on the way to work and on the way home from work and knock out an episode in a day. So it's much appreciated.
Well, thank you. And like I said, we definitely appreciate the support. Anybody that listens, we never thought we'd have listeners. So
you still don't believe it.
Yeah, it's still weird that people are like, oh, we listened to all of it. I'm like, we've put a lot out there.
I'm like, Mom, quit downloading episodes. You're juicing our numbers up.
Right. All right. Mason, anything?
No, I enjoyed it. It was an interesting game. Some ups and downs. I enjoyed teaming with Scott. It was a blast. Yeah, definitely. Anytime you want to come back, more than welcome to come back.
Can I point out one thing that Mason got? Like what? 2 of the 3 halftime questions.
Oh, he was all over.
I mean, it's 2 movies I've seen. Like I said, far too many times that I knew those right off the bat. But yeah,
this is why whenever Eric Ede talks about how there are no more halftime questions for him to write, it's full of bunk, and you are just being lazy. And,
correct.
Just get off your ass. Just look up some stupid sports movie.
Yeah, this was easy. You just pick 3 movies, find 4 characters.
Piece of nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just wait till the next one.
just get with it. Come on, man.
He's intentionally trying to torpedo it so he can move to his version.
All right, Wiener boys, Dicky boys, whatever you guys call yourselves. Yes. What do you got to say?
Appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna say, like, hot dog straw guy. If you had a corn dog, you just one push, pull back, you got a straw. Like that's
because
so much extra.
Yeah, you don't want a soggy corn dog.
You don't want
you take the corn off. Come on,
then it's just a mess. Then it's a mess. Then he just looks like
more of a mess. Sucking a hot dog through a straw,
genius,
or having a pre-made hole.
But then you have a pile of
that's what she
said.
What are you
supposed to do with that?
2022, and we're debating hot dog straws.
Listen. Somebody get him. What's his Twitter handle? I will tweet him immediately.
I
want to shake
hot dog straw guy.
I want to shake your dirty hot dog hand.
His Twitter handle is at John Sonny Johnson.
His Twitter handle is at I'll eat a hot dog any way I want.
Mind your own beeswax.
The fact that he was doing that and somebody's just like, I gotta get this on video, and then just ruined his life.
I have questions about the origin of that because, like, is this his second beer? Like, where you're like, I just saw him do that. Now I got to record it for posterity.
What inning did this happen? Because if this was like the first inning, then I might have a problem with it. But if this is like sixth inning, then yeah,
I got an idea.
There's no chance that this person was randomly recording when he started doing this. He either had already done it before,
this counts,
or this was a setup or of some type or something.
This counts as discovery if I say it on the podcast. So patent lawyers, listen now.
There you go.
But here's my marketing idea: holes in hot dogs for small amounts of hard alcohol. We'll call them shot dogs. Love it.
It has to be
the
Jell-O.
marketing geniuses that came up with this one.
Me. That's who.
I'm gonna go on Shark Tank for that.
Jell-O
Yes,
shots.
me and
inside
Mark
the hot
Cuban.
dog.
Hey,
Mark,
Mark Cuban.
Shot dogs. Listen, 2 words.
Yeah, no, this. I like your games. Your games are always fun, even though I think that the majority of the quarters are, the letter right at throwing the towel got really hard real quick. That was fun.
There's only 4 questions.
There's only
In fact,
4
5.
questions.
I could
I
ease
forgot.
into it.
I know. And just another warning out there to anybody who thinks that if they could come on, they're going to get 90% of wheelhouse questions. That's not normally the case. So
It
Scott,
is if I'm writing it. Then you'd like the Jets.
I'm going to mute you if you don't shut up. No, I'm just kidding.
God,
This was a
see
lot
this
of fun.
hostile
Thank
work
you, Scott,
environment
for your
we're in?
support, and thank you for coming on and playing with us. And
Absolutely.
appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
Anybody? We have a lot of New York downloads, so I'm just saying they probably loved all these Jets questions. So, all right. Well, thanks for listening to the
Thanks,
Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, and until next time, we're gonna suck on some hot dogs to keep the bench warm.
Bye.
Bye.
Says you.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.